Hi, and welcome to the VIP Music Room podcast. Hi, and welcome to the very first episode of the VIP Music Room. My name is Melissa Stauffer from Mrs. Stauffer's Music Room, and I thought that by having either a video you could watch or an audio you could listen to might be beneficial for music teachers who are on the go all the time, because I know we really all are. And I want to jump right in and talk to you about today's topic, which is everyday tools for all music teachers. So let's jump right in and talk about the first thing that I would really recommend. And it's this awesome pencil pouch that I found on Amazon. It's great for, of course, your pens and pencils. It is also fabulous, and this is how I use it. I use it for all of my computer chargers that I have to lug back and forth to school every day. It's got a little handle on the side, so if by the end of the day, the things that I want to take home don't all fit in my bag, which happens more often than I'm willing to admit, I can just stick this over the end of my arm and get out to the car a little easier, which is very nice. It would be great for your kind of emergency pack that you keep inside your desk drawer or in a file cabinet, and anything else that you can think of carrying or wanting to keep in one spot. I could see you storing a tuner and a metronome in here and still being able to find them really easily. I think this is a great pouch for it. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't have just one zipper. It also has two. And so you can access everything from the top, or you can just open up the side zipper and grab those couple little things that are in the front slots. So it's really good, and it was under $10. I think I might actually have to buy a couple more of them. The next thing I wanted to talk about is my Apple Pencil. And I know that if you haven't used a tablet or haven't thought about using one in your music room, I would really recommend it. It's so nice to be able to get out from behind a computer and hold on to something small that you can walk around the room with. But let's not talk about the actual iPad, because there's a whole other mess of reasons. Those are great. But I love my pencil because it's really helpful as I'm walking around to be able to do things like writing handwritten notes. So there's apps that will recognize your handwriting and turn it into typed text, which is amazing. So I love that. And I use an app called Notability. So once I'm done writing, I can just select all the text and hit convert, and it will convert it to typed text for me. I've also used my pencil to write handwritten keynotes for my students, and that's been really great because I am able to just write and work as I'm thinking about things I need to tell them. I actually used it for the beginning of the year, kind of my procedural slides that I wanted to show the kids at the beginning of the year. So over the summer, as I was thinking about things, I would just jot it down on the go and then make it look pretty right before school started. And then I have a Promethean board in my room, so I can actually use ActiveCast, which is kind of like Apple TV or mirroring. I was able to just play the slideshow right from my iPad to the board for the kids, and they could read my handwritten text, which was amazing. And then it works like a stylus if you're not using it to do handwritten things, which is also really nice. I do like how it works just with everything else on the iPad. It's also nice because I have fat finger syndrome when I'm not paying attention and I'm starting to try to get something done, and I will be smashing my finger against the iPad going, okay, do what I need to do, and I'm not paying attention. The Apple Pencil has definitely cured that. And I also love when I'm kind of having some downtime, there's some doodle apps and drawing apps that it just kind of opens up a little bit extra relaxation. So those are always really fun to play with when we're talking about something at a meeting that doesn't apply to me. And one of the things that makes this so useful, being able to get to anything on the go with the iPad and the Apple Pencil, is that because you're able to save to the cloud, you can pull things up on your desktop or laptop, or later on again on your iPad if that's what floats your boat, and work on those things when you need to. And if you haven't used Google Drive yet, I just need to mention it because I'm sure you do, but I couldn't let it pass without saying Google Drive is amazing and I love it. And Google Docs is the best invention because you don't have to hit save. Okay, moving on. So these little cube timers have been a lifesaver on more than one occasion. And they're great because you don't have to set a specific timer. You don't have to deal with buttons. You don't have to fidget or try to move the minute hand. It is set for only specific times, but you just flip the cube so that the number you want is up, and then it'll set that timer for whatever number it is. So if it's 15 minutes, 1 minute, 7 minutes. So you only have the 4 options, but you also can just give it to a young student and say, set the timer for 3 minutes, and then when you're ready, come back. So those are always super helpful if you have a tool that you can use with your littlest students. So I also like to use it if we're playing a game. I set the timer and say, we're only going to play for 10 minutes today. And when it goes off, it's off, and that's it. It would be great to time centers. If you're walking around and the kids are switching, just flip the timer real quickly, and you can go back to watching what they're doing and observing them. If you have a practice room in your room and you need to send a kid to practice something for a minute, give them a timer. It would be really good with younger students that need to calm down. If you need to have them have a moment, say, here you go, like we were talking about. And one of the things I love after school is I actually use it for me to keep myself on track at the end of the day. I know that if you have a specific amount of time to finish something, you're more likely to finish it in that allotted time than if you just kind of work on it till it's done. So I will set the timer for an hour and give myself that hour to finish my lesson plans, and it has to be done by then. And that's actually really been very helpful for me, or grading papers for some of my middle schoolers. It's definitely saved me a lot of time because I work for the timer. Talking about our next item is a tuning fork. And a tuning fork, I know, is really associated heavily with Kodaly method teaching, which it's great. You can hit the tuning fork, you get a note, you start the song, you don't have to get up, you don't have to go to a piano, you don't have to check a pitch pipe. It's really helpful, and it trains your ears a little better. But it's also really helpful in a lot of other situations. If you're doing something really quiet for a concert and you don't want to have a pitch pipe kind of busting through that silence that you've kind of created before the song starts, this would be a really good way to give yourself and your students a note. You can use it to check instrumental tuning. That's always a great method to do it because you can really let the kids train their ears a little bit, and that would be helpful. And you can get out from behind the piano, which is always a great thing. I don't want to be in the corner of my room with this big instrument between me and the students while I'm trying to watch them play a game or sing a song. And it's always nice to be able to walk around. So that is always a great use for a tuning fork. You can help your students in choir find intervals if you give them a note and ask them to hum a perfect fifth above where you are, or a major third. This would be a great way to help them practice those things. And last, the one thing I need to say is it's portable, it's not electric, and it fits in your pocket. So it would be a really great tool to bring with you on the go. So if you have a performance outside of the school, if you're doing a parade, it's always nice to have some sort of device that doesn't require all this extra what ifs. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about are these checklists, which I love, and I actually made them for me first, and then decided I was going to make them look pretty. And they're really helpful on the go because I've just saved them in my iPad so that I can write on them as I need to. So what I did is I copied the file, deleted the pages I didn't need, and then saved it to Google Drive so I could just pull it up right on the iPad and write on it. And that's been really helpful to have them as individual files rather than this long set of to-do lists, because I can find the one I need right away. And I use a PDF annotator so that I can just write on my to-do list as I think of things. And then at the end of the day, I go in and take everything off of my to-do list and put it into the app I use to keep myself on track. And this has really cut down on the amount of Post-it notes that I have falling off of everything, coming out of my pockets, all over my desk. And because I'm able to just write on it really quickly, that's been super helpful. And then these checklists are completely free. So just go to mrsstoffersmusicroom.com/sign up and you can get them right there. Now, I would love to connect with you. You can find me on Facebook at Mrs. Stoffer's Music Room or on Instagram as Mrs. S Music Room. And I would love to connect with you. And you can also download the show notes and links to everything I've talked about today at mrsstoffersmusicroom.com/1. You will be able to go there and get a hold of everything so that you can get them all in one clickable place. And I want to thank you so much for listening to the very first episode of the VIP Music Room. I'd love it if you let me know what you thought, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the VIP Music Room podcast.